Why play Kog'Maw Bot Lane? Well, he destroys both tanks and squishies. He has incredible range, he does brilliant hybrid damage, and if protected, he's the best hyper carry in the game. However, he's got no mobility, so he's very squishy if caught, and he lacks any hard CC, with all his abilities mainly being damage. Kog'Maw's passive is upon dying, he enters a state for 4 seconds where he gains a chunk of movement speed. After 4 seconds, he detonates, dealing a large amount of true damage to all enemies nearby. Kog'Maw's Q has a passive which gives him additional attack speed. The active is a straight line skill shot which deals damage and shreds the target's armor and magic resist. Kog'Maw's W causes him to gain a good amount of attack range, and his attacks deal maximum health damage as magic damage for 8 seconds. This ability is what makes him an incredible hyper carry, allowing him to shred through any target with massive amounts of maximum health damage. Kog'Maw's E is a straight line skill shot which deals damage and leaves a trail on the floor. Enemies within this trail are slowed. Kog'Maw's ultimate is a long range skill shot which places a circle on the floor. After a short delay, enemies within this circle are dealt damage, with it dealing additional damage the lower their health, and it reveals them for 2 seconds. If the target hit is below 40% health, they take an additional chunk of damage as well. This ability has a low cooldown and a very low mana cost. However, if you cast it again within 8 seconds of your previous cast, it costs additional mana, stacking up to 9 times. For combos, start with your W auto attack into your EQR as fast as possible before spamming out attacks using ultimate when you can. And a useful combo to engage with is to start with E for the slow into your QR, allowing you to get in range to attack. For matchups, Kog'Maw does well into scaling bot laners as he will simply outscale them. However, he can struggle against lane bullies who will take advantage of his low mobility. For runes, take this. Lethal Tempo with green secondary allows you to scale hard. For build orders, start Blade and Pot into tier 2 boots, a Bork and a Rage Blade. After this, a Hurricane, Wit's End and Titanic Hydra are great pickups, and you usually want to get your mythic of a shield but around about your 4th item, with all these other items being viable too. For skill orders, start W then Q then E before maxing W then Q then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Ghost. Ghost makes you a terrifying teamfight god late game. Starting the game as Kog'Maw, as you are the AD carry, your main goal will be to hyperscale into a late game god. And the way you do this is through hard farming, keeping yourself safe, and putting yourself in a position where you can easily farm. And one of the best ways to put yourself in a position where you can easily farm is through good poke and good trades. Firstly, you have access to great poke with your W. So if your opponent does go up to farm, a W into 1 or 2 auto attacks, especially if used with your E, is great poke damage. Also, your trades can be very strong, but you are reliant on hitting your Q. Your Q not only does damage, but the fact it shreds the armor and magic resist means that you and your support deal serious amounts extra damage and can lead to great kill potential. Look to poke where you can and look for these great trades to get pressure in the lane to either kill your opponent or make them weak enough that you're completely safe to farm and push. Entering mid game, you're looking to take your tower as soon as possible and roam with your support to the mid lane. This firstly puts you in a great position to siege the mid tower, and secondly puts 2 of your champions right in the center of the map to roam to any objectives or skirmishes. Entering late game teamfights, Kog'Maw is now an absolute beast. You now deal insane amounts of damage to anything you shoot at, shredding through tanks and squishies alike. However, the most important thing as Kog'Maw is keeping yourself safe so you can put out this insane damage. As you have no self-peel or mobility of your own, you're reliant on keeping yourself safe with your good positioning and your teammates' help. You want to stay at max range at all times, and if a threat is getting too close, it's far better to walk away and not deal damage for that moment than to get blown up. Other than this, when you're able to attack, simply shoot at anything in front of you. If you're able to keep attacking for more than a few seconds, their entire team, both squishies and tanks, will simply evaporate.